Be ready, set, and go. From the time we're young, that's the rhythm we're taught. Prepare, push, perform. Be strong. Be steady. Keep going. But what if the most powerful thing you could do right now is stop? Stop pretending you're okay when you're not. Stop pushing through when your body, your heart, your spirit is asking for rest. Stop running from your own exhaustion just to meet expectations, yours or someone else's. Dear sisters, what if? What if stopping isn't failure or weakness, but wisdom? What if stopping is the moment your soul finally catches up to your body? Whether you're raising children, leading a team, helping aging parents, chasing a degree, or holding down a home or a hustle, dears, you are carrying a lot. And sometimes we're moving so fast, keeping everything and everyone together, that we forget to check in with ourselves. So today, let's flip the script. Let's talk about what it means to be ready, set, and stop. Let's talk about what we mean here when we say stop. Dears, we're not talking about quitting, nor are we saying to give up. What we are saying is take a pause. In the pace of everyday life, especially for women, rest often feels like a luxury. Many of us have been taught, whether directly or indirectly, through expectations, that slowing down is a sign of weakness or lack of commitment. Even laziness. We've been told that to be strong means to keep going, no matter what. But the truth is, strength isn't always found in movement. It can also be found in stillness. Yet, how often do we feel guilty for doing just that? For being still. For sitting down. For saying, I need a break. For not responding to a message right away, or for letting something wait until tomorrow. For so many of us, the rhythm of giving never stops. The mother who hasn't slept through the night in years, but keeps showing up for her family. The caregiver who tends to everyone else's needs while silently neglecting her own. The woman working long hours, holding it all together, with no room to exhale. We've become so accustomed to functioning while tired, hurting, or overwhelmed, that burnout starts to feel normal. But it's not. And it shouldn't be. Stopping, just for a moment, isn't falling behind. It's an act of wisdom. It's the simple but profound choice to check in with yourself before the world demands more from you. It's asking, how am I really doing? It's remembering that you cannot pour from an empty cup, and that your well-being is not a bonus, it's a foundation. Sisters, you don't need to disappear, or go on a retreat, to pause. Sometimes it's simply stepping outside for a breath of fresh air before you answer that question. Sometimes it's giving yourself permission to feel the tears you've been holding back all day. Sometimes it's simply saying, not today, without having to explain why. These are not dramatic moves, they are deliberate ones. They are the moments where you stop long enough to remember that you matter too. Dear ones, can't you see, that pause is sacred. It's where the noise dies down and clarity begins to speak. It's where you remember who you are beneath all the roles and responsibilities. It's where you give yourself grace without needing anyone else's permission. Stopping is not failure. It's not weakness. It's the courage to listen to your soul when it whispers, I'm tired. I need a break. And choosing to honor that voice is one of the strongest things you can do. We live in a world that worships hustle. We're taught to glorify being busy, to measure our worth by how much we accomplish in a day, how productive we are, how many hats we can wear at once, without letting one fall. And as women, that pressure gets layered with expectations to succeed, to nurture, to hold it all together, and to look composed while doing it. Somewhere along the way, we started seeing exhaustion as some type of achievement. If you're tired, you must be doing something right. If you're overwhelmed, it must mean you're being responsible. If you're constantly on, constantly performing, constantly proving, it must mean you're valuable. But what if that's a lie we've all quietly agreed to? Because here's the truth, you are not a machine. You are not here simply to produce, to push, to perform. You're a person with feelings, needs, and boundaries. You have a heart that longs for more than just survival. You were not created to constantly run on empty in the name of being strong. Sisters, hustle may win you applause. It may bring temporary success, or the illusion of control. But it can also cost you your peace, your health, your joy, and your connection with yourself. When you're moving at the speed of expectation, you miss the quiet moments where life actually lives, in laughter with your children, in stillness with your thoughts, in that deep exhale at the end of the day. And here's something that may be hard to admit, and that's, sometimes we keep hustling, because it's easier than facing the stillness. When we stop, we have to feel things we've been avoiding. We have to confront our limits, our fears, our disappointments. But sisters, that's where healing begins, not in the chaos, but in the quiet we've been avoiding. Dear ones, hear this for a truth, and that's, you don't have to earn your rest. You don't have to justify your need to breathe, to slow down, to care for yourself in the same way you care for everyone else. Challenging hustle culture doesn't mean giving up ambition. It means giving up the lie that your worth is tied to your pace. It means choosing intention over exhaustion. It means saying, I can show up fully, without running myself into the ground. Dears, know this one truth, and that's, you don't have to do everything to be valuable. You already are. There comes a point when the body may still be moving, the calendar still filled, the smile still intact, but the heart is quietly unraveling. This is where the pause becomes more than physical. It becomes emotional. A much-needed checkpoint between where you are and what you're truly carrying. Sometimes, we're so focused on keeping things together that we don't realize we're the ones falling apart inside. We say I'm fine so often that we almost believe it ourselves. Yet behind that polished response, some of us are harboring sadness, disappointment, anger, fear, feelings we've been too busy or too tired to name. And let's be honest, it's easier to keep moving than to face the truth that we're hurting. Taking an emotional checkpoint is about giving yourself permission to feel what you've been suppressing. It's about asking yourself, with honesty and tenderness, what's sitting in my heart right now? What have I pushed aside in order to keep going? And where do I need compassion more than pressure? Maybe it's grief you didn't have time to process. Maybe it's resentment you've been swallowing for years. Maybe it's the fear that if you stop being strong, everything will fall apart. But here's the thing, strength isn't stuffing everything down. Strength is having the courage to feel what you feel, without judging it. Without judging yourself. This is not about breaking down. It's about breaking open to healing, to honesty, to release. And please understand, dears, you don't have to do it all at once. Maybe it starts with a single tear in a quiet room. Maybe it's journaling the truth you can't say out loud yet. Maybe it's finally telling someone, I'm not okay. Can't you see? That small, honest step. That's your checkpoint. That's your freedom cracking open. Dears, believe that your feelings are not too much. Your truth is not too heavy. And you don't have to hide your heart, just to function. There's nothing weak about being human. In fact, it might be the strongest, bravest thing you've done in a long time. Sometimes, we get so deep into survival mode that we forget to ask the most important question, and that's, is this the life I want to be living? Dear, sometimes we get so caught up in momentum that we can find ourselves on a road we never really intended for ourselves. We move from one responsibility to the next, one season to the next, one sacrifice to the next, because we're supposed to. Because people depend on us. Because it's what good women do. And somewhere along the way, we stop asking if we're truly okay with the direction we're heading. We stop checking in with our dreams, our peace, our purpose. Stopping, even briefly, can be a powerful wake-up moment. It gives us the space to ask, am I living in a way that feels true to who I am, or am I just doing what I think I'm supposed to? Dears, I know these questions can be uncomfortable, especially if the answers lead to a truth we didn't expect. Maybe you realize you've been saying yes to everything but yourself. Maybe you've been holding up everyone else's world while quietly losing sight of your own. Maybe you've outgrown the story you're living, but no one knows it yet, not even you. Sisters, you're allowed to reimagine your life. You're allowed. This moment of stopping isn't about judgment, it's about awareness. And dear one's awareness is where change can begin. When you wake up to the reality that something isn't working, it's not failure. It's clarity. It's the first glimpse of freedom. Sisters, you're allowed to reimagine your life. You're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to shift directions, even if it's messy or inconvenient, or hard to explain. You don't have to keep performing a version of yourself that no longer feels true. For one woman, it might be walking away from something she's outgrown. For another, it's walking toward something she's always been afraid to try. For some, it's the decision to stop doing so much and simply be fully present, fully alive, fully her. Whatever it looks like for you, the invitation is the same. Wake up to your own life. Don't sleepwalk through your one precious existence. Ask the questions. Sit with the answers. And give yourself permission to course correct, not because you're lost, but because you've finally found your truth. Sweet dear ones, I feel this so strongly, and that's, you don't owe anyone the version of you that kept everything afloat while you're slowly sinking. You owe you, dears. You owe yourself a life that feels honest, whole, and truly yours. So be willing to pause. Be bold enough to challenge the pace. Be tender with what you're really feeling. And be awake to the life that's calling you back to yourself. Until next time.